All right. So the things that we're going to cover here when it comes to building the rapport, answering those questions like Tiffany just said, right? She mentioned that people are giving the reasonings behind why they're not doing business at this moment because it's COVID, maybe it's a budget conversation. So when we communicate with people, the first thing is rapport, right? Which is why I put that audio out there, and I highly, highly recommend that every one of you guys listen to those audios over and over and over and over again, as many times, sometimes 2 to 3 times is when you start to get it and you start to understand it. And what we're covered today is we're going to go over NLP language patterns, and we'll cover NLP presuppositions, which we spoke about just a few minutes ago. And if we have more time, we'll go over some other NLP presuppositions so that this way we can start shifting our perspective and looking at things from a more open mind and also a higher consciousness, right? And I'm going to say that in terms of a higher consciousness because it takes a certain level of openness to be flexible with people. Would you agree? I mean, think about it. The world has changed. The world is not the way it was maybe when you and I were growing up or when your parents were growing up. It just isn't. The world has gone towards a path of a lot more openness, a lot more accepting of other people, their backgrounds, where they're from, what gender they choose to identify themselves with. So based on your flexibility, that's going to determine your level of success and your level of connection with other people. So we're going to cover the language patterns that are going to help you communicate much more effectively. And this is the fundamentals. So it's like building blocks, right? We'll start with the basics. And in addition to that, we're going to cover some program topics like reframing past experiences. What's your contextual conversation? Building rapport. We'll learn some more. We'll start practicing building rapport. Using NLP for your life and business. It's because NLP is not just something that you use in sales. This is a whole world of things. You know, hypnosis is a part of NLP. If you've ever been to a Tony Robbins seminar, that's NLP 100% right there. Everything that he's doing and changing your mindset where you could walk across fire. For some people, you can break bricks. You know, NLP gets even to the state where you could even, right, as you begin to master it, you could even help to speed up your metabolism is at that level, right? When you get into even the point of hypnosis, you could even work with curing certain ailments that people might have by eliminating those negative emotions that people are carrying on over many, many, many years. So it's a huge field, but we're only going to focus on how you can use this in your everyday life to make better relationships, communicate with people, and connect with rapport a lot faster. So moving on, just a little bit about myself for some of you guys that don't know who I am, because Tiffany, I got to give a shout out to Tiffany, guys. Tiffany, just say hi so this way people can see you on the screen. I don't know how they have it set up.
Hi, how are you guys?
Guys, Tiffany has been an absolute rock star. Let me tell you, every day she is just adding another person to the group. Another person is getting registered. Another person is getting registered. And it's just in my mind, she's a master enroller, right? And connecting with people and being an incredible influencer. So Tiffany, I wanted to acknowledge you for doing that because it's, you know, the number of people that we have in this room, a lot of it is accredited to you. So kudos to you.
Kudos to you, Tiff.
Thank you.
Definitely. So a little bit about myself real quick. I am a certified hypnotherapist, NLP coach, NLP master practitioner, mega agent from New York, transformational coach as well too. And when it comes to my real estate background, because I know we have a mixed group of people here, when I was in New York, that was my primary business, was listing and selling real estate. And then I started combining real estate with the transformational coaching and coaching agents in the real estate field. So since 1991 through 2008, I was involved in leadership within my church. So I've been part of church restructurings, mission fields in Santo Domingo. And when you think about it, this is where, for me, I believe my heart of contribution came from. Where for me, it's just, I naturally gravitate towards wanting to help improve people's lives. And as time goes on, you think to yourself, well, how much money am I going to be able to make improving other people's lives, right? You start to think to yourself, I got to pay my bills. I've got to take care of my family. But then I realized that, listen, there's opportunities in being in service to other people, and you can still make a decent living, even a very good living, and do well in helping and coaching people to become great leaders. Then from 2001, 2005, I was in management within FedEx Kinko's, or it was FedEx Office back in the days. And I was in Forest Hills, Queens, helped to open that location, Garden City. I worked in that location. It was a non-profitable store, and we turned it profitable. In Hicksville, Long Island, that was my own location. Staten Island, I opened up that location as well too. And in Bryant Park, New York City, I was a multi-unit manager. So I was overseeing 3 offices in New York City and 1 in Staten Island, which was the launch there. And then from there, I decided to jump into real estate. 2004, I got my real estate license and started listing and selling. For many of you guys who know me, my first year was a difficult year, to say the least. But once I got some good coaching and I changed my behaviors and I started learning more about NLP and how to communicate, I was listing 100 homes a year. Okay, so that's 2 to 3 listings per week. And then I started a loss mitigation company called Goodbye Foreclosure in New York, where my team and I were doing between 200 and 225 transactions per year for close to 5 years before I went ahead and just took myself out of that space and decided to jump into more coaching and training. Also, I was the team leader here in the Keller Williams in Fort Lauderdale. And also right now I'm focusing on being a pro coach, productivity coach here in the Market Center as I continue to get more certifications. And the ultimate goal is to get more into MAPS transformational coaching to be able to help and get together with more agents and help them have breakthroughs with their business. So that's a little bit about me. When you look at this quote here, what you do speaks so loud that I can't hear what you say. Ralph Waldo Emerson. So people, have you ever heard that? I'm not, do as I say, not as I do. Have you guys ever heard that before? Right? That's basically what this is. So what you do speaks so loud that I can't hear what you say. Everyone is watching. Everybody. 77% of our communication is body language. So people are reading us just like you're reading other people without you even knowing it. It's just automatic because as people, we're tribal by nature. And what we're looking to do is we're looking to find who are the people that are going to be a part of my tribe. That's what we're looking for. Can I trust them? Can I connect with them? So when we look at the definition of NLP, neuro, it stands for the nervous system, the mind, through which our experiences is processed via 5 senses, okay? Visual, auditory, kinesthetic, which is touch, olfactory, smell, and gustatory, the taste. So when you think about it, an experience is not what you saw. It's also how you felt during that time. It's also, was it cold? Was it hot? Was it warm? Was it bright? Was it dim? Was it dark? Okay. All those things are a part of the communication that we put out to people. So environment makes a world of a difference. It's funny. I was driving down the road with my awesome girlfriend, Vanessa, and we were going through Coral Springs, And we just kept going up University and driving. And then it gets to this point where you can turn down this really nice neighborhood. Okay. And as we're going down the road, I'm just sitting there driving in my Jeep. We're relaxing. We got the windows down. We're cruising. And I'm like, man, it smells like vanilla coconut or something, man. This must be a really good neighborhood. I mean, they're candles. Everybody's lighting candles in the neighborhood. And maybe this is the way the trees smell. And I'm thinking, wow, is this what money smells like out here? I mean, this is amazing, right? And I'm thinking to myself, wow, where's this scent coming from? And she's looking at me, she's like, what does it smell like again? And I said, oh, it smells like a coconut. It smells like a little bit of vanilla. And basically I was smelling the soap that was on my hands, this antibacterial soap that I was washing my hands with before we left the house. And that's what I was connecting with. But you realize that just that scent, just that smell started to create an experience. I started to assume that the neighborhood, the area, the homes, the connection with a great scent, something that's familiar, was money, was successful, was powerful. Are you guys following what I'm saying? So the nervous system, everything comes together when it comes to building rapport. We look over here, linguistic. So language and other nonverbal communication, systems through which our neural representations are coded and given meaning, which includes pictures, sounds, feelings, tastes, and smells. Words, self-talk. So as you guys are connecting with your clients, they're going to be referring to things through their language, either visually, either through how something might taste, or sounds. So have you ever heard somebody say, you know what, that sounds good to me, right? Or I just don't feel like this is the right thing for me to do right now. Okay. Something smells fishy. So you listen to them, and now you know where their perception is and how their communication is and what they're focusing on. So now we have the linguistics, we covered that here, and now we have the programming. So the programming is the ability to discover and utilize the programs that we run, our communication to ourselves and others in our neurological systems to achieve our specific and desired outcomes. So in other words, NLP is how we use the language of the mind to consistently achieve our specific and desired outcomes. So by understanding how this works, by understanding what is it that totally affects the psychology of a person when it comes to decision making, what is it that we can do differently from this point going forward to affect our business? I just want to hear some ahas out of that, where you guys are with that before I move on.
Can you repeat the question?
So after reviewing everything that we reviewed here, what comes up for you in terms of how we can now change the experience of our clients, for our clients, or the people that we come in contact with?
I think you can connect with them by mirroring them, or by understanding with the languages or the tone or various other factors.
It looks like we have a lot more tools besides our words. We have pictures, sounds, feelings, taste, smells, all those things to connect with the person.
It's kind of like it's the total package. It's not just the words, it's how you say it, how you read it, and how they read you.
Well, go ahead.
Hey, Rob, I have a question.
Go ahead. Who was that?
I have a question. So if someone says to you as you're positioning or presenting your product or service and they say, something smells fishy, how do you process that to switch that conversation so that it doesn't smell fishy or skeptical to that person? Because I guess that's what we're digging for, those context clues to feed off of, the energy or the message we're trying to get to them.
No, absolutely. And those are some of the things we're going to cover within there. I know where you're
I'm
going.
jumping
And
ahead.
if I start getting into like handling word for word objection handlers,
Yeah.
then we'll never get to the basis and the foundation of what it is that we're creating here. But this is so that we can understand that everything comes into play. So this means when you do your listing presentation, how is it affecting, or whatever presentation you're doing, how is it affecting their visual? How is it affecting what they smell? Maybe you have a scratch and sniff inside the envelope or inside the package. Maybe there's music attached to it, to your presentation. Whatever the case might be, just understand all those things. It anchors the person to the experience. So now that we're aware of this, what can we do differently? Something to think about. So here are the creators of NLP. Richard Bandler and John Grinder. So Richard Bandler is the co-creator of Neuro-Linguistic Programming, creator of Design Human Engineering, Neurohypnotic Repatterning, and co-author of Persuasion Engineering. And John Grinder is the originator of NLP and one of the greatest thinkers of our lifetime. He has authored 14 books on complex subjects ranging from transformational grammar, family therapy, and his creation of NLP. So when these guys started putting things together, when it came to NLP, they got a lot of their research from other psychologists. Originally, NLP was used in hospitals to help patients take their medication. That was the purpose of it. And what they started to realize is that if we change language and communication and language patterns, that people will respond differently. So they started paying attention to it. They even paid attention to Milton Erickson, who was a hypnotherapist. Milton Erickson had gotten to the point where he was able to put someone in a trance through the conversations by looking at his rate of speech, looking at, paying attention to his tonality. And he even got to the point where with one word, a person, he would be able to put them into a trance. And that's just the way the mind connects with people. And when a person is in a trance mode, when they're in rapport with you, then it's easier for you to put suggestions in their unconscious mind. I know I'm getting massively technical. This is why I said, listen to those 2 hours of audio so that this way all this stuff makes sense as we go through it. So now, what we're going to look at in terms of the first language pattern to focus on learning is it's going to be on selling to the subconscious mind. So this is embedded commands. So embedded command statements and questions with modal operators, right? So embedded command is, it's a statement that you say that's 2 to 3 words that gets embedded into the subconscious mind. Do you guys remember back in the days when we would go to the movies, and in the movies, while the movie was playing, you see something that says, get a Coke, get popcorn, right? And in the back of your mind, in the unconscious mind, you're making that connection. And then you're like, man, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit hungry. Maybe I should go right now and go get a Coke. Maybe I should go during the next break and get a soda. So the way embedded commands work is as you're communicating with somebody, when you're in great rapport with them, you throw in a command and that sticks into their mind, and that's what the unconscious mind is hearing. So it's 2 to 3 words. It's a call to action. So you have to be clear on what it is that you want, what it is that you want to do, what it is that you want to create while you're meeting with the other people. It can stand alone as a thought. So that means do your homework. I don't have to say anything else. Do your homework. 3 words, stands alone as a thought just by itself. Clean your room. List with me.
Sign the contract.
Sign the contract, right? You know, set an appointment. So when you're familiar with those embedded commands, then now you know that that command itself is what people are going to be listening to. And then also it's present tense. So it's something that you want them to do now. In addition to that, it's assumptive. So when I say assumptive, I want to make sure we're super clear, because I sometimes I think that people don't fully understand what assumptive is. Assumptive is you're already assuming they're going to work with you. So let's say, Evan, you've been experiencing this challenge with someone that is refusing to reduce their price or refusing to accept an offer, right? So then,
by the way, we got into contract this morning, just so you know.
Woo! Come on, baby. Congratulations. So when you walk into a situation and you're making an assumption, so the assumption is you're going to reduce the price on this home, right? So the moment you reduce the price, I can be able to help you get an accepted offer into contract and moved out to California in the time that you want. Isn't that what you want? How great is that? Won't that be awesome, right? So now I'm just assuming this is what's going to happen. The sooner you list with me, the sooner I can help you get what you want in the time that you want. Perfect. What do you think? So now we start using these language patterns, and there's a strong emphasis on the command. And we're going to start writing out some of these commands. So here's some examples, okay? And you guys can write a few of these down, take some screenshots of it, use your phone, because we're going to take a few minutes to start writing some commands, embedded commands, and also to start writing a couple of sentences. And then that'll be the homework for today. And we'll go over it tomorrow, and we'll go over a few other things. So this is building blocks, folks. I know many of you guys are anxious in wanting to get that one pill that you just boop, and you become a master of influence. Nah, it's not going to happen like that. This is, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. However, I'll tell you this, if you practice every single day and you do the homework, you're going to start to identify a language pattern, because we're going to cover several, that connects with you, and a language pattern that is easy for you to use and it's natural for you to use. And once you start doing that, you're going to see that your language is just going to change drastically. But the only way we can learn it is by practicing it. So let's look at some examples of some embedded commands here. Feel good. Say yes. Send me referrals. Buy now. Get excited. Do what I say. Trust me. Believe me. Sell now. Like me. You like me. Do it. Sign the contract. Set an appointment. Feel comfortable. Extend the listing. Buy this house. Agree with me. And Tiffany, I'm going to rely on you to give me embedded commands around your business, okay? Just so you know, so that we can all stay in sync with all the different business models here. And Rafay and Elise as well, too, for whatever you guys use, you know, you're in your business, you're going to write embedded commands according to that as well, too. Come to my office. Work with me. Commit to me. So there are 2 to 3 words. You don't want to make a command, an embedded command, where it's like 5 or 6 words, because then it gets lost. The primary focus is get the command right. Be clear about what it is that you want, okay? And once you're clear about it, then we're going to build the sentence structure around that command so that the person doesn't necessarily feel the command so strong. Because if I come to you and I say, trust me, out of the blue, you're like, okay, what's this guy talking about, right? I've got to be able to put the words before and the words after it for it to make sense. And this is where modal operators come into play. So with modal operators, they come before a command. They set up the command more powerfully. So must, intend to, have to, should, can, may, try to, will you, want to, you could, need to, decide to, possible to, able to, pretend to, have to, wish to, let me, choose to, should, ought to, supposed to, got to, allow me to, you would. Okay, so these are modal operators. So you can grab your phone, take a picture of it, and just so you guys know, I will be posting in the group these phrases. Okay, but this is for the purpose of you doing a little bit of homework and some trial right now, so that we can get some of those sentences out there and we get a chance to hear it. So this is how you would put together your sentence structure. Okay. All right. So Tiffany has fix your credit, sign up now, get started today, invest in yourself. I love those. Perfect. So here's the example. You have a modal operator and then the pause. These little 3 dots, when you're looking at scripts and dialogues, represent a pause. So it's a 2-second pause or a 3-second pause at the most. And then you state the command, 3-second pause, and more people will make offers, or you can keep it the way it is and keep hoping that the market shifts in your favor. Okay, pause, and then you finish the sentence. Here's the cool thing, guys. This here makes the command palatable for the unconscious mind. This is the most important thing, and whatever you say after here doesn't even matter, because this is what the mind is hearing right here. So get this part correct, and everything else after that is just closing it. And then when we learn about tie downs, then you'll be able to put a hat on it, put a cap on it. So here's some examples. You should do what I say. Most of my clients do, and they experience exactly what they want. You can sign the contract at any time during my presentation. Okay. Any questions around this, guys? We're good? All right, so we're going to move on. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to break you guys into groups, and you're going to turn to your partner within those groups. And for the next, not 30 days, because we've actually shortened this class down to knock it out within 12 days. Within 12 days. And I want you to be clear on what it is that you want in your business right now. And you're going to start writing some embedded commands, just the way Tiffany wrote in the chat. Those commands, that's what you're going to do yourself, is write out all those commands for your business. And then after I break you guys up into those groups, we're going to come back and just hear a few of those statements from you guys, and then we'll be done. And whatever questions you have, we'll be able to cover that as well too. So here's the one trick. Start off with the command first, and then build the sentence around the command. So for example, get clear on this first. What is it that you want, right? Lower the price, set an appointment, whatever the case might be, you write it out. And then, then you start adding the you can or the modal operators. Send me referrals, and then you finish off the sentence. Okay? Any questions around that? We're good? All right, so let me go ahead and break you guys up into rooms. This is a really, really cool feature here. Okay, breakout rooms. And then you're gonna get a notice when it's time for us to come back. So when I break you guys out into these different rooms, please, 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 that doesn't mean that you jump off and disappear, guys. Okay, what it means is you're gonna be connecting with the people within your group, and you guys are gonna write out these commands and then put the modal operator. Even if you come up with one in the next 2 to 3 minutes, that's a win. I just want to make sure that you know how to do this before we close out the class for today. So let's break up the room here. All right, let me
2 ... fix your credit ... so that you can qualify for home financing.
All right, awesome. So one more person, real quick, one more person.
Well, I wrote down, you should sign up now so we can get you started on your journey to reaching your goals.
Perfect. So you guys got the gist of it. So here's the homework. You want to write 5 embedded statements and 5 embedded questions for a total of 10 per day. Okay. So since this is a little bit more of a shorter class in terms of time frame, write 10 for today. Okay. Tomorrow we'll focus on something else. And here's some examples of categories that you can write it with. And again, I'm going to post this in the group as well too. And you can put it in the feed. And you want to call your partner. You want to connect with them at least once a week, which will be the next 2 to 3 times, the people that were in your group, and go over, you know, hey, listen, what's happening with regards to mimic, mirroring, and matching? Because tomorrow we're going to talk more about building the rapport. All right. So guys, I will see you tomorrow, 3 o'clock. See you then.
Robert, can you put
Thank you.
Say again?
Can you put the screen back again with the instructions?
This one right here?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So whoever has to sign off, you guys can go ahead and just sign off.
That's it. Rob,
Lance, I'll see you in a couple minutes, Lance.
I was going to say, you don't have to run. If you want to spend some more time here, I'm good. I'm good for today.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to put on Google Class assignment, you're going to put this actual thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this on there. Yeah, so this way you guys can refer back to it, you know, and then you're gonna write your sentences within the feed itself. You'll see. I'll put it on there today, so this way you guys can model it.
Okay.
But Lance, let's talk in 3 minutes, man. I want to catch up with you.
Okay, perfect.
My hands as I go, and I think they don't like. I have to figure out a way to not use my hands so much because it's something that I think certain people do not like. Like it doesn't sit well with certain people. So to learn how to control my natural body language is going to be interesting because I've been doing it for so long. And I did notice that even, before this, and I tried my best to not use my hands so much, but hopefully this will train me to do that less.
Yeah, you're going to notice that you're going to become a whole lot more aware of what you're doing, what you're not doing. A lot of us, we've heard the term perception is reality, right? So within the world of NLP is perception is projection, okay? So what we project, that is the perception that people take in. So if our tonality is not in sync with the person that we're speaking with, then that's what we're projecting onto them. If our rate of speech is not the same rate of speech as they are, then we're projecting one or the other. Either we're going too fast or we're going too slow. Has there ever been a time where you've spoken to somebody who is just even by being around them, there's like an uncomfortable feeling. Like it's almost like a spider sense. I don't know how to best describe it, but you're like, there's something weird about this person. You don't know what it is, but there's an energy that is just not agreeing with you. Has anybody on this call ever felt that before, connected with that?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I see the hands are up.
100%.
Yeah.
Right? And what it is that, what this tells us is that we get to be responsible 100% around the energy and the experience that we create when we come into a room.
Yeah.
We get to be 100% responsible of the energy that we create and the agreement that we create and the rapport that we create when we go on a listing presentation, when we're meeting with the client, when we're going on a date, when we're coming home to our spouse, when we're coming home to our partners. You know, it's the moment that you start to admit it, acknowledge it, and connect to it, that we're 100% responsible for the results that we create.
Right.
Then the beauty of it, here's the beauty of it, is that we get to now decide what it is that we want to create. Now we get to take ownership. Now we get to be intentional. And when you look through the presuppositions that we were talking about, we'll go over it again, time and time again. I wanted you guys to listen to it, get familiar with it, because what NLP is, it's a modeling, right? What we're doing is it was created where people would model the best behaviors of the most successful people. So when you're modeling the behavior of the most successful people out there, then a lot of those, let's say, sayings came around, right? You know, I'm sure there's sayings that you've heard before, let's say, who could think of a saying? Some people say, all hard work produces a profit, right? You know, that could be
Early bird gets the worm.
What would you say? Early bird gets the worm?
Yeah.
So there you go. So there's a saying, the early bird gets the worm. So what we did is what the people who created NLP, which is psychologically based, grabbed all these sayings that successful people have and their point of view, and we put them into presuppositions, which are assumptions. They're just convenient assumptions. So respect, right? Respect for the other person's model of the world. When you think about it, every one of us has our own model of the world. Would you agree?
Sure.
Yeah, we all do. Regardless of where you're from, if you're from another country 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 miles away, they have their model for survival. They have their model for what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad. So now, if we take on a perspective that, listen, we're going to respect that. So when we come in contact with a client that's from somewhere else, then at that point you say to yourself, okay, well, they're coming from a different model. They're coming from a different background. So let me respect what it is that they're doing, what it is, where it is that they're coming from. And you come from curiosity and you stay out of judgment. You know, behavior and change are to be evaluated in terms of context and ecology. So when you think about ecology is something that is not going to hurt the human being. It's ecologically sound, right? It's not going to hurt the environment. So when we look at behaviors, you know, you want to practice a behavior that's not going to destroy what you have around you, what's been created. That's not ecological. Here's another example of a presupposition. Okay, resistance in a client is a sign of a lack of rapport. So resistance in a client is a sign of a lack of rapport. So there are no resistant clients, only inflexible communicators. Effective communicators accept and utilize all communication presented to them. You guys think about that?
Yeah. Interesting. Well, you know, I have a quick question while it's on my mind. So now with this whole COVID thing, we show up to the door with a mask on, and the owner, for example, we just had one, and they said, "Are you sick?" We said, "No." And they said, "Well, then you could take your mask off." Well, I don't want to take my mask off. I don't know what the heck they're doing, but it kind of hurt our rapport.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do in that situation right now? Because for a while now, I'm going to be wearing a mask just because that's my personal choice. So what do you do there? I'm just trying to think if there's a workaround where it's not going to ruin the rapport.
No, that's a great question and a great point. And we're going to learn something called reframing during these lessons. And reframing, just to give you an idea, is So if I come up to the door and I'm saying, hey, Heather, I'm here for our appointment, and I've got this big mask on, right? So let me see, I'm over here and I've got this mask on my face, right? And I'm like, hey, Heather, what's going on? How you doing? Okay.
Yep.
And now you're sitting here, you're looking at me, and you ask me, am I sick? Right? And I'm going to say, no, I'm not sick. I'm totally fine. And, you know, yeah, I'm good. And then you tell me, hey, Rob, then you could take off your mask. And so one of the answers that I could say from there, right? If you want to reframe it to keep the rapport,
Right.
well, hey, listen, Heather, you know what? I'd love to take my mask off. Trust me, I've had this thing on so long. And the reason I keep it on is because I want you to see how I'm going to be careful with my clients and with the customers that I'm going to bring to your home to make sure that even though you and I might be doing well, I want you to get an experience as to what it's going to look like when I start working with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in light of that, I want to honor that for our customers and our clients, and I want to give you the same experience so that you know what kind of agent that you're working with. So tell me about your home. When can we get this ball rolling? All right. So now what you did is you shifted the conversation and the perspective to something different. You made what seemingly appears to be a negative, and you switched it and you changed it into a positive. Isn't it great that we get to work with agents who are conscious about other people's needs and desires, like myself? I mean, that's the kind of agent that you want, right?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Who wouldn't? So that's a lot of the stuff that we're going to be learning here. Any
Hey,
questions
Rob.
to that point? Go for it.
I just have a question pertaining to our business. So, you know, speaking of COVID, where we have clients that reach out to us, you know, we work in the credit repair space. They reach out to us from an ad. They acknowledge that they want their credit worked on, or they want to improve their finances. But then, you know, when we talk about the pricing of our services, they say, oh, I can't because of COVID. So how do you connect or create that rapport if their resistance is financially based, but they reach out for financial help? What would you suggest in that scenario?
You know what? That's a great question. And we're going to go over the language patterns.